You are listening to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where illumination and inspiration is but a click away. With so many genre topics for you on everything that you need to know in life. We celebrate and share the people who have taken the journey before you and who are now here to serve you with their wisdom and their knowledge. The next show coming up is... Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Choose Positive Living here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I am your host, Sara. My guests today from Sweden and from Canada are two wonderful ladies who started a fabulous program called Compassionate Leadership Programs. There's Leigh Hodgins with the Hollow Spirit Path Holistic Services and the Ann-Britt Bolinder, who has the Spider program. We're going to be talking about how you put a spider and a horse together and get compassion. Feel, which is to do with horses, brings the horses together with you and helps you feel what's inside. Connection, intuitively connecting and opening up, letting go of the stress, the grief, the anger, and making a connection that just makes you feel more peaceful, more clear, and have more clarity. And with Ann-Britt's Spider program, which both of them do, the spider is 6 legs in your perspectives of life, of understanding what is your driving force, who are you, what are you here to do, where's the compassion behind it, and how to make this a lifestyle that will lead you everywhere in life. So, feel is a transforming life journey in personal and emotional growth, and the Spider is all about making connection with yourself to be a leader in your own life and to bring that leadership into everything else that you do. So let us step up and meet these wonderful ladies and find out how we can feel compassionate about our 6 legs of life.
Hi from Sweden. We used to breed Spanish horses, but when we decided to stop that part of our business, it was a very difficult decision because we had to find a new purpose in life for our horses. But as many of you know, when you have made a very difficult decision, sometimes a new door opens up. And for us, it was feel. And both my husband and I became field practitioners, and our horses became teachers in this beautiful work. And then I got hooked in the spider web of Life Spider System. Both these are unique modalities, and you work with your intuition, and it's heart-based, and you respect other people, and you learn leadership. And I thought, well, why not try to combine the two? So I created a compassionate leadership program, and I thought, why not go international, because it's such a great program. So I contacted Leigh, who I met in Canada last year when I was over to do my advanced field training, and we met at the conference, a field conference. And Leigh liked the idea. So she's going to do the field in Canada, and I'm doing the Life Spider coaching online. So the two of us can work together in this fantastic program. Thank you.
Right. And Leigh, would you actually explain what feel is and obviously what you're doing there?
Okay, absolutely. FEEL stands for Facilitated Equine Experiential Learning, which is learning by doing. And it's a form of equine assisted therapy. There's no riding involved. All the work, mindful activities are on the ground with the horse, and you're connecting with the horse. And this form of equine assisted therapy is for everybody. It's instead of speaking to somebody about some things that are bothering you or helping you work through things, you actually work with the horse directly. I'm not privy to your conversations necessarily. For example, say you're just feeling stressed or you're dealing with grief. And then we set up mindful activities around that. But the horse is a teacher. I'm just a facilitator reading the body language and asking the questions of the client so they can come up with their own answers. We all have the ability to solve our own problems, but sometimes we need a little help. And working with the horses is just amazing. Like, it's just magical that happens, and things we don't even plan. The horse will take it somewhere else because the horse knows what's going on with you.
Yeah.
They're highly intuitive animals. Their intuitiveness is very important because their life depends on it, even if they're domesticated now and get fed a couple times a day, just to stay safe in their life. They're highly intuitive, and the magic that happens is just mind-blowing every time. And then meeting Ann-Britt last year in Toronto, we just hit it off, and we thought, when she had done the life spider coaching, you know, this would be a good combination for people taking, especially women, taking their leadership to the next level and developing that emotional intelligence. My background was in the corporate world for over 30 years. And when I was downsized, I too had to repurpose myself, and I had horses at home. And that's why the field training just really spoke to me. On the first day, I thought, the world needs more horses to make us feel better. Most of us are stressed, not living the life that we want, or with a sense of purpose and joy. And for me now, every day is Friday. You know, running your own business is not easy, but having the horses and making a difference in people's lives. So what I found in the corporate world, I was very fortunate to work with a company whose leadership, board of directors, management team, all highly emotionally intelligent, let you do your job. And being in that environment was amazing. I spent a year at a governance firm doing freelance governance work with many organizations. And that's the first thing that struck me. These people don't even like each other. So how are they going to accomplish their goals? They can't even work well together. So in speaking with Ann-Britt is like, let's develop emotional intelligence and put it out there. Working with the horses, you have no choice, because if you're not present, you're not vulnerable, you're not authentic, they'll react badly. They'll call you out on it.
Right.
So we thought this is like a perfect program together with Ann-Britt's doing the life coaching through the life spider and me working with the horses. So we just dovetail the program together.
Excellent. And I love people's redirect. You know, we never know what's going to tap us on the shoulder and say, you're going in another direction. And we never know really what that direction is until we close the door on the past. And, you know, neither one of you went too far away from the field, you know, of your passion. You've just moved it into a different direction that it benefits other people more greatly. And, you know, animals are here to teach us. I think they're teaching us how to be more humane, how to step into love, how to just let go and be. I mean, they are so incredibly intuitive, and their ability to communicate with us without the words, you know, is just, it's like an encyclopedia in many ways, you know, because they've got the answers. And we've just got to be calm enough to listen or tune in. And, you know, everybody thinks that, you know, all the answers are on this downloadable app. And oh, it's 40 seconds, I've got to have the answer. And when you are present around a horse or any other animal, you really do have to be in their space. And so you have to be calm in their space. And so that automatically calms you down. Their entire posture and everything about you calms you down. And just the little things they do, that they subliminally communicate, the nudges, the way you stroke them, that vibrational connection that you're having with them can just open up that heart chakra completely. So I love the fact that you use the word compassion in your leadership, because the horses are teaching us compassion. Now, Ann-Britt, with the leadership program, you know, and as you said, Leigh, you came from a corporate world and people just weren't connecting, and it's because it's too competitive. Everybody is trying to outbid or outcompete each other, but we know when you look at a herd of horses, they're collaborating with one another, aren't they? So would you say that collaboration and compassion are things that are very much needed in a leadership? Anne?
Yes. Oh, yes, I think so. And also, I think for a woman, it's also very difficult because you have to be able to use your feminine power and your feminine energy. That's very important. I mean, you can't be like a man. So that's also what we are trying to bring out in this program, that you can be what you are inside. So it's not about taking on a role or playing a role of somebody else to be able to succeed. So both with Feel and the Life Spider is bringing out all the strengths that you have inside. And there's nothing wrong with your ego. In Life Spider, we actually bring out the ego, but you have to combine it with an unselfish intention.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yes. Yes. We talk about ego a lot when it takes over, how it becomes, you lose the message because it becomes all about you. But when you can use the ego in the sense of pride in what you're doing, then what you're putting forth is the passion of what you're doing. And that, I think, is the kind of ego we want. Be proud of who you are and what you're doing. And as you said, be proud you're a woman. You may be in a man's world, but you're a woman. Bring some femininity to it and you'll bring the balance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with the Life Spider, I'm quite sure that we will have peace on Earth, because it's about passion and peace. So when you're allowed to be who you are and be accepted and respected, there won't be any more arguments.
Right. You've stepped into your higher vibration, of self-love, of meaningful purpose. And now you can't really go and do harm to anyone else because it's harming you. It's harming you, Nike. Leigh, from corporate world to horses. I mean, what a lovely transition. And but the horses are the bosses in many ways. It doesn't matter what you want to do with them, right? They're still going to be the bosses, are they?
Well, they're the teacher, and they'll take it whatever way they feel necessary to go. But they're also very compassionate animals. When they sense sadness inside of you, they'll hold space for you. They'll just stand there and hold space for you and let you process it. And this is all about taking your time. In the corporate world, I worked at one point in a law firm for a number of years, and it was always about getting things done, billable hours. Not a very good culture, that's for sure. And then coming to a corporate world where all the employees were shareholders, we're all working together for the end goal, is to be successful financially and in other ways. And working together, it doesn't matter who gets it, but it's what the end result is as working together. So it's not the CEO taking all the credit or for the people that did all the work. It's we all did it together. We all get the credit. So that's what Ann-Britt and I want to teach people, is when you show up in that place, it's what you bring. It's not emulating anybody else. It's not emulating a man. It's bringing your qualities to the table. And working with horses and with the Life Spider coach actually brings those things up. And for example, with the horses, you mentioned about the calming influence. And when you're in the presence of a horse, your heartbeat actually starts to sync with theirs, because theirs is about 3 times slower than ours. Your breathing comes down. You're able to focus. You're able to think clearer. So that's what we're teaching people, to go out into the world and take the time, not having to make a quick decision on things, because making a quick, incorrect decision is not helping anybody. But it is actually having the patience. It's okay to be that way. And people that aren't that way, you can teach them a lot.
I noticed today, I think it's over 55% women in the world are entrepreneurs. And, we've obviously taken that role because the positions mostly in corporate, weren't recognizing women, or they were trying to balance family, or just, I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it a different way. And at first you probably saw some competitiveness, just trying to keep the head above water. But what I'm seeing now is such a wonderful collaboration between businesses. A business to say, I'm doing this, you do that better. I'll send clients your way, you send clients my way. That cohesiveness, and also more celebratory of each other. which is so much more supportive. And I think in that is whether you're a solopreneur or an entrepreneur with a small group of people, being amongst other entrepreneurs where you can support one another is what brings out the compassion. Because, you know, you'll share that advice. Oh, you know, that I came across that problem, I did this. Are you finding that type of thing, you know, is what you're teaching and what you're really seeing people resonate with, that camaraderie? We're doing a lot of C words here. And do you find that?
Yeah, I think so. And then I've joined some really nice Facebook groups where we support each other. We give, you know, we can send clients as well. So I think there's a shift in the world, actually.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, I also find that it's developing relationships. Mm-hmm. That's how things are going to get better, is working together, developing relationships. If you're having a bad day, let the people know, hey, I'm just struggling here a little bit. Give me some time to get through this. And people are going to be more than happy to give you some space. They're not going to say, no, we need this right now. And if they do say that, maybe you're not working at the right place.
Right. Or with the right people. Yes. Yeah. I think it's also that discernment, isn't it? Don't just take on a client just because you need the money, right? You know, can you have, you said the big capital word there, a relationship. Can you have a relationship with your client? Because if you can't, how can you serve them? Because how are you connecting with them to know what they need? Right? So every single thing we do in our lives is some form of relationship, isn't it?
Mm. And I think especially in the work that Leigh and I am doing now, it's, I mean, we are working with a group of people for 8 months. The program is for 8 months. And I mean, you have to have a relationship. It's not clients.
Right.
It's more like a friend.
Yes.
So it's a give and take. I mean, no, it's not about the money. You can't do it for the money only.
Right.
Of course, you have to earn money, but I mean, you can't take on clients just to earn money because it's impossible. You can't do a good job.
No, if you're always chasing the dollars, you're not serving the people. Right? So, you know, the dollars definitely have to be there because how can you continue working or support yourself without it? But if it's the people, out of Germany, there's a wonderful guy with Pure Necessity is the name of his company. And it's teaching corporations, governments, even small entrepreneurs that it's people, planet before profit. And when we do put the people, the planet, all life, all animal life, all plant life before the profit, we will actually be far more abundant, won't we?
Oh, yeah.
So I know that horses with children with autism are absolutely incredible. But if you've got somebody that's a business person or that, you know, maybe a CEO and never had time for horses and they're kind of coming in, well, I don't know, touch a horse, I don't know what you need. Do you find that there is that initial resistance in kind of connecting with a horse, Leigh?
Absolutely. I had applied for a business license and the bylaw inspector had come over to do an inspection and you know, he had to see the barn and stuff, and he doesn't like horses. He's scared of horses. And I said, well, you know, that's fine. We can do it from the outside of the gate area. And one of my horses, Jack, came up to him. And it was kind of funny because it was first day back after Christmas holidays. He had a cold. He's a big, burly guy. He wasn't feeling good, didn't want to be there. And he was just sort of making small talk. And Jack came up to him and grabbed his zipper and started playing up and down with his zipper like this. And just disarmed him. It made him feel comfortable. He felt safe. And after about 5 or 10 minutes, he said, you know, I feel so much better because Jack started to yawn quite a bit in the presence of this fellow. And in our world, when a horse starts yawning, they're not tired. They're actually releasing tension from you. And, you know, he left with a smile on his face, offering a testimonial, and was just very pleasant and pleasantly surprised by this short interaction with one of my horses. And Jack came up and did it all on his own.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we do push is that these horses work if they want to. They do what they want. We don't ask them to do it. We don't put them in halters and leads and say, you must do this. They're a partner, and we treat them as such. And when they're respected like that, they know what they need to do, and they just love doing this work.
Do you find that kind of certain horses choose certain people and other horses, no, that one's not for me?
Yeah, absolutely. We have 7 horses, and they're all alike. I mean, you don't have 2 exactly the same. They choose different. So one is working with grief. One is testing people's boundaries, to teach them how to set boundaries. And one is just happy-go-lucky, and everyone loves her. And one is very high sensitive. So they're all different personalities.
Right. They're all part of the team, and each one of them has their own role to play. Right.
Yeah.
So you just basically let somebody go into the ring and let the horse choose, because they will know what that person needs at that time.
Sometimes the people could choose a horse, and sometimes I just use my intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Because many times I thought, well, I should have this horse for that person, but then I go into the stable, I sort of hear that, there's another horse saying, okay, pick me.
Yes.
And I always listen to that, and it always works magic.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to listen to the horse.
Yes, they are incredible creatures. They really are. I haven't had a good experience from riding them, because I had one that was a bit wild and took off on me and was heading straight for a truck, and I couldn't get it to stop or steer or anything else. But I'm the year of the horse and the Chinese sign, so I was very fond of them. But I have such respect for horses, and actually what I think today is our animal kingdom has really stepped it up. It's kind of looked at us humans, they're going, oh my God, you haven't got it yet. We're going to have to step up and teach you. And we're seeing that from our children as well. But I'm going to give you a quick short story of a couple. He was a gynecologist, and she was a concert pianist, concert violinist in New York, and they bought a farm out in Charlottetown for retired horses, for senior horses. But they didn't know much about them, they just had a passion for it. And he was out delivering a baby one day, and she's on her own, and she could hear one of the horses really neighing like mad, and she went out and found the gate open. And one horse had stayed in, neighed to say, hey, the gate's open. And she managed to rally people to get the horse back in there. I was talking to her later the next day, and I said, go and give a horse an apple and thank it. And she did that, and I said, start having a conversation. And they built up such a wonderful rapport that basically it was, her go-to, nay, this one's doing this, doing that. And they really didn't know anything about horses. They just had a passion for them. And now they have this wonderful farm that people just go and sit with them. Don't even do anything, just sit in their presence and just calm right down, which is so beautiful to see. I think one of the big benefits, especially for people going into business, is the calming you down, because that's huge, isn't it, Leigh?
Yes, absolutely. And I do have a number of clients that come and see me because they're feeling stressed and a lot of anxiety. And they're quite surprised how calming the horses can be. And so we also teach them breathing techniques and other things that they can take away with them. So if they're somewhere and they're feeling very stressed, there's some activities that they can do. They don't necessarily have to have a horse beside them. And it's just sitting and being calm, developing your intuition, listening to yourself, redeveloping your intuition, because we're all born with it.
Yes.
And so much of our life you take away from that, and people doesn't give you the credit that, trust your intuition. No, that doesn't make sense. We spend too much time in our head.
Oh boy, you said it.
So,
yeah.
So getting out of your head, more into your heart, and having a better balance.
Well, that's why I love the word, compassion that you're using with what you're doing, because if you're not doing it from the heart, you're not really doing it for the right reason. The head will always be the calculation. How much money can I make? How popular will I be? How much can I grow? How much power can I have? Blah, 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 blah. When it comes from the heart, it's a totally different connection. It is more, who does it serve? How many can I serve? Who's going to benefit from this? It's a totally different dialogue when you come from the heart to the head, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think also if we're working with female leaders, I mean, if you can get a manager or boss doing this program, I mean, she will bring this to her team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she will bring a different, totally different view for her team when she's at work or corporate world again.
Because what we've found is developing the self-awareness. So when you walk into a meeting, we've all been in that place where you walk into a room and somebody doesn't want to talk. They're not happy. They may have just had a fight. They're just having a bad day. We read people's energy and we sense that. We don't talk about it, but we want to talk more about it. We want people to be more self-aware so they understand people's energies better rather than just walking in and be oblivious to what's going on. You know, you see that person come into the meeting room with a big dark cloud. Instead of just starting the meeting, just say, hey, is everything okay? You know, that is where the compassion comes in, the self-awareness, learning your boundaries. It's okay to say no. This is basic stuff. We're not taught.
No.
And horses are pretty amazing when coming to that because they will push you with your boundaries. We, as Ann-Britt says, we both have horses that will push boundaries until you stand up for yourself and they know that you're standing up for yourself. You're not just going through the motions. They won't let you do that.
Well, they see you from the inside out, don't they?
Yes.
Right? You know, they don't care what's in your head. You know, they're reading your frequency and they know if you're lying to yourself or pulling the wool over your own eyes. And, you know, why aren't we being more compassionate when somebody's having a bad day? We don't know what they're going through. And perhaps just saying, look, I'm there for you. I'm so sorry. If there's anything we can do, let us know. We're there for you. That can take an enormous weight off a person's shoulders just to know that it's okay for them to be having a bad day or something's happened that's made them sad. And that they're first foremost treated as a human being and not just as, you know, commodity. And I think that's something we really need to be doing more, isn't it? Treating people as human beings.
Yes.
And also to be vulnerable. I mean, it's the horses teach us that it's okay. They are never judging us. They are never having opinions. They just read us, what's inside of us, and I think people have to be taught that it's not dangerous to be vulnerable.
Yeah, there's no one-upmanship with horses, is there?
No, and actually you develop better relationships when you are authentic and vulnerable. And that's what we want to get to, because it's okay to be human. We're all human. You know, there's bad stuff going to happen, and it's hard to show up every single day when there's bad stuff going on in your life. But if you share it a little bit, as you said, it will lift the mood a bit. You'll feel like you've got some breathing room, and people will feel more connected to you. And when people are connected to you, they will go to the ends of the earth. Anybody can be a leader and tell people what to do. It's another thing to ask your team to step up and help finish off a project because they want to, because they're passionate. They want to do whatever it takes because they love being in this team environment. And you're going to get better production. You'll be more successful. And at the end of the day, the bottom line is going to be better because of that.
Yeah. You know, I think there's something that's really important, which is something I came across recently, is I put out something on Facebook and asked an opinion, and people gave me their opinions, which are wonderful. And then somebody came back with, you know, it looks like sanitary pads. You know, and then you're doing it wrong, and you're doing this wrong, and you're doing that wrong. And I think it's like, when you are supporting one another, you don't come out and say you're doing it wrong. You first find out, what are they trying to do, right? Why don't you actually go and look at more of what they're trying to do, and then saying, oh, I love what you're doing, but maybe the message isn't coming across in the right way. And I think this is where the compassion comes in, because you do have some people that come in and immediately, oh, you're doing it wrong. You've got to go here. I can help you. $. And, you know, there again, trust the intuition, trust the compassion in you, heed the advice, but does it really apply to you, or are they just not getting you? So we can't take things too personally, but we also got to be careful with our advice as well, haven't we?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I find also with the life spider, when you find your driving forces and you learn to see other people's driving forces,
Yeah.
you get, you can see, okay, this is going on. I don't have to take that personally, that comment. You see all these comments on Facebook. I find it very amusing because I sit there and say, okay, so that's a driving force that's not getting attention. So it's very interesting to see what goes on. So also that gives you, I think that's giving compassion as well.
Yeah.
When you start to see, okay, that's a driving force. She can't use her driving force. So this is happening. So I find that.
Yeah, Leigh.
And with the horses don't judge.
Right.
And that's what we like to teach people
Yes.
as well. Don't judge. You have no idea what's going on in that person's life right now.
No.
You just have no idea. And it's none of your business. But just being compassionate and open and saying to them, is everything okay? Is there anything I can do?
Right.
Do you need to take some time? Because as we all see on Facebook and social media, people hide behind their computers and say awful things.
I know.
And you have to wonder what's going on in that person's life that they have to feel like that. And having a bit of empathy and removing yourself. If you feel triggered, is removing yourself. But don't jump to, and want to respond right away. It's having some empathy of what's going on in that person's life that they have to be so awful.
Yeah, don't react, just say thank you for your opinion. I'll take it in, and you're still going to do what your heart and thing is done. If they're looking at it, this is the thing is, whatever we're doing, we can put out, from our hearts, from our passion, from our compassion of what we're doing. How other people receive it, though, is beyond your control. And if they do receive it negatively, they're just not seeing it for what it is. So therefore, what you've got isn't going to fit for them, right? And that's something we have to be mindful. I agree with you, Ann, that Facebook is people give Facebook a big bash. It's algorithm. I have wonderful people on Facebook, incredibly supportive. They take every single one of my shows and share them. You'll be shared on multiple pages with this show. Very supportive of the station, very supportive of me when I ask a question, or if I'm just saying having a bad day, need some love. But you do get those other people. I think it goes down to what we feed will grow. If you feed the loving support, that will grow. If you respond to the negativity, that will grow, right? So we have to be mindful, don't we, of what we water.
Yeah. Mm.
And that's where also compassion comes in. Sometimes you want to respond. Nope, bite your tongue, take a deep breath, don't pat a horse, calm down.
Yeah. And also with the horses, I mean, they don't listen to what we say.
Right, yes.
They listen to what we feel, and if we're authentic or not. So, I mean, on Facebook, it's all about words. But with horses, it's about feelings.
Yes. I mean, you've got a picture behind you for people who aren't watching the video, who are listening. You've got a picture behind you, Ann, of a lovely horse. And the thing is that not only are they just magnificent creatures just to look at, and when you see them run, and just when they come up to you and you can pat them, but look into those eyes. They go so deep, and it's almost, just what's the word I'm looking for? When it just draws you right in, and you kind of get lost in those eyes, and I think they're reflecting back what they're seeing, right? And they're seeing something that lies deep within you that you're not able to see. So what you're doing with your 2 programs is teaching people to find that love of self, be compassionate with self, trust and open up that intuition, and be able to bring it into your own leadership. So that you can go, whether you're in corporate, whether you're an entrepreneur, or whatever you're doing in the world, that you can go and bring that level to everyone else.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to change in the world, you have to change yourself, first of all. So, I mean, if if you give love, if you give compassion, you will have a shift.
Yes. Yeah, most certainly. Now, I know that Anne, you do a lot of work online, which obviously means people aren't with the horses. So how does that work?
Well, with the horses, I don't do that online. It's just for the
Right.
coaching. The life spider coaching is online, but the field work is always here on our farm. So people have to come. Where you can actually do coaching sessions on the phone with the horses, like a video call or something. I haven't done it, but I know there's a teacher here in Sweden, a field teacher. She's doing coaching on the phone with the horses.
And it reminds me of Mr.
Try.
Ed coming in. Let me see now.
Well, if you do it like a Zoom call,
yes,
you can see the horses. They can see the horses, and if they can hear the voice of the other person, they will react, of course, because they can hear what's going on in that other person's life.
It'd be quite fascinating to actually sit there, with your Zoom, and start talking and see which horse comes up.
Yeah.
And then you know which horse comes up is what they're needing right now, which is really cool. Do you do that, Leigh, or are you just strictly with the horses?
No, strictly with the horses. I want that connection.
Mm-hmm.
I want the person to be there and be present. And that's, I think, one of the challenges we're going to face is women in business are going to have limited time, and it's like, oh, I need to get through this as quick as possible. It's like checking off the list, but we need for them to slow down and feel things. We need them to get out here with the horses for their sessions and actually be present. Put the phones away, shut them off on mute, and just focus. This is like your hour and a half or 3 hours or whatever your session is to be there and how you're going to show up. And very rarely have these women had the time to do that because they don't have time. They're not worthy of taking the time. So it's definitely a mind shift.
Yeah. Do you work with a lot of entrepreneurs that are mothers?
I have done some women. I worked with some women that do have young children, and it's a struggle. I think we're all facing that as a woman. That just to take the time, we look after everybody else first, and we're last on the list. Yeah.
Yes, that is something that is completely off balance. And, again, if it's come to that expectation, hasn't it? Like corporate, well, no, you've got to work 80 hours this week, and it's, well, what about the family? No, if you want to get ahead, sacrifice. And no, if you don't have the balance, what are you working for? If you don't have the time to have with your family, if you don't have the time to enjoy your friends, to enjoy your activities, to get out there and be able to just download and live, how you're going to become resentful of your job or resentful of your career because it's taking too much time and it's not allowing you any time to live. So that balance is so important, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's not even a balance. It's just the feeling that you're able to do everything. Like you're able to, you have a good life where you have your passions in your life. And going to work, I mean, let's face it, it's a paycheck. It doesn't matter what position you have. It's the way you live is by getting money, but it shouldn't be taking over your life to that extent. And for myself personally, I found I throw myself into my corporate work because my personal life wasn't going the way I wanted it to. So I was rewarded well for working so hard, and I was very, very successful, but my personal life suffered because of that. And that's no way to live.
No, it's all very, successful at the office, but you go home to an empty house. No one to share it with, no one to go on holiday with, no one to go out dinner with or watch a movie with, go for walks with. It's like, it's empty, right? And whether you're looking for a partner or just a group of friends, but if you haven't got time for them, you're losing out. And we don't want people to lose out because, as I said, then the wrong emphasis and the wrong energy is being spent on everything. So, and during this 8-month course, what's the procedure that they go through?
We have 16 sessions with Life Spider coaching, and we also have one Zoom meeting every month with a self-coaching program that Leigh and I'm attending. And then we have about 15 hours of field work and then, well, we see it could be 3 hours and 5 sessions, or maybe 2 full days. It depends on how the participants want to do. We are flexible there.
Right.
The thing is, once you get them to the horses, they forget about the time.
Yes.
Then they will have time. So it's just you have to get them to come. So that's the good thing. When they shut the phones off, they get absorbed.
So do you find actually they look forward to coming, just so they can be around those horses and learn to switch off?
Yes, absolutely. Once they have been here once, they will look forward to it.
And that's what we're looking for too, is people that are open-hearted and open-minded to try something new. Obviously, they come to us because something's not working well in their life. So what we want them to do is just be open to the possibilities that something could shift, and they're going to find something way better. And we're not going to talk about the energy work right off the bat. We're just sort of going to get them comfortable with making some shifting happening, and over time explaining about the energy work and how that works with people and with the horses, and they'll see it in person. And Ann-Britt will take those, ask some questions, and just by pulling out, oh, okay, I see this is one of your driving forces, and asking some questions, and you're just like, oh, I never thought about that before. So open-mindedness is really important for this program.
I think for anything in life, if you're not open-minded, if you're rigid, if you're coming with an agenda, you're not going to get the benefits. You've got to come with an open mind and in a sense of allowing, permission just to go with the flow and see where it takes you. And then as it takes you, hold on to it and see where it goes. I think we're doing so much by manuals today. By 30 you should be this, by 40 you should be that, you've got to be this car, that house, this, that, etc. This is the linear path you need to take. But we know energy is not straight. Energy is constantly intertwining and turning like the wind. It shifts back and forth, and we've got to be flexible, haven't we? We've got to be able to bend without breaking, because that's the important thing.
Yeah.
And being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. And I always feel that if something's going to happen, it's going to happen whether you put all your energy into controlling it not to happen. If it's destined to happen, it's going to happen, whether or not you put all this energy, and playing it safe. There's no way to live.
No. And of course, playing it safe is fear-based, isn't it? And from being a counselor myself, and for the many shows I've done, fear very often is people really can't identify what they're afraid of. They've just been brought up in a fear state, and everything is out to get them, and everything's about to judge them, and nobody wants to. I don't want to make a fool of myself. And it's always that fear. And if we could just look at that in the face and go, no, I want to know who I am from the inside out, what my purpose is here. What was I born to do? What's my gift, my instrument in the orchestra? And I want to get on playing it and stop being so afraid. But that's that free will that we have to have, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
how to get there. That's the thing. And of course, the horses help because they see right through all of that.
And with the Life Spider coaching as well is finding your life passions. What's driving you? Ann-Britt can probably speak better to that than I can, but just finding what you're passionate about that you've just forgotten about.
Yeah. How do we find that passion? Hey, Ann?
By doing your Life Spider. Easy.
Yes. We need the help. Because sometimes people just go, I'm so busy living up to everybody else's expectation of me. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I can do. And I've heard that so much from people. I'm nothing special. And it's that self-discovery, hence the name of the station, of really what lies within us, because we're all a gift, aren't we? We are all a gift. We've just got to discover what it is. So you peel it away until you find that gift and help people bring it out.
And also finding those, I mean, the driving forces are very strong. And you usually hear from your small child, you know, you're too much of this, you're too much of that, you can't do this, you can't do that. So you put all these layers on top. And once you start, as you said, peel them off, it's so powerful and so refreshing, and it's really magic. So I did Leigh's live spider before we started, because she had to have a live spider, of course.
Of course, yeah, we're going to work together, you know, to know how you're going to work together, right? Yeah.
So, I mean, she can tell you about the process.
Yeah, how was it for you, Leigh?
It was eye-opening in a lot of ways. Because we'd gone through the field program, we'd already been awakened and open-minded about things. So it happened fairly fast. That's what we found is going through it, that finding my spider, my strengths and my driving forces and my passions, they were sort of already open, but it was more or less just reining them in and examining them. You know, what leg was going which place, because this live spider has 6 legs. So you have 6 programs or directions you want to go. Yeah, where you wanted to go. So I always look forward to it, because I never knew what was going to come up, and the questions Ann-Britt would ask me is like, oh, never thought about that before. But yes, you're absolutely right, because we all have our blind spots. We all have that part of the Johari window, or blind spot that we don't see that other people see, and bringing that out. But as well as we get older, we don't want to have any regrets either. We've been touched by people around us that may have not lived a long life, and you know, looking back is sort of you're at the end of your life, and looking back is like, what have I done? Right. Is this enough? Is this enough for me? So this is about making part 2 of your life the best part, being passionate and finding what really gets you out of bed in the morning, and not having to pay a mortgage necessarily, but getting out of bed because you're passionate about what you're doing, and to look back and say, yes, I've done something. I've made a contribution in my circle of the world. That's
another C. How many C's have we got here today? And I think that's what we really want when you know, when we're on that deathbed. You know, it's not like, you know, all my, you know, 6-figure income and my big house. It's like, who around you still loves and respects you for what you contributed in life? You know, the mark you left on them. Did you leave a mark where, you know, they're crying in gratitude of you, and they'll miss you because of who you are, or what they got from you? You know, it's I think this is what we really want to know is, do we count? Are we contributing? Because when we look at it, we are a global society that needs to rely on each other for our sustainability. And if we're not there for each other, well, first, if we're not there for ourselves, how can we be there for anyone else? And when we discover how to be there for ourselves and step into what we're here to do and be there for other people, there is no better feeling in the world than seeing somebody's light switch on, or somebody in that discovery of self, you know, somebody's life made better. And, you know, that is where I would say the ego comes in. You know, you're proud that you had something to do with somebody discovering themselves. And, you know, and it's not like mine's better than yours. It is about you just in your frequency on that wavelength connected with that person and switched those switches on. And now it's up to them what they do with it. But just seeing them step out into it is a wonderful feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the secondary benefit of all of this work is that your health improves.
Yeah.
You know, and that is a key. As you get older, if you've not dealt with emotions or buried things as you get older, it's going to come out in some form of illness, is my belief. Yes. And so if we can help people be excited, be happy, their health is going to be way better. And our health system's a mess right now. If it's stress, the anxiety, and once you've got the stress and anxiety, it leads to other things. We've personally experienced that. So if you're happy and passionate and focused on what good things you can do in your own circle of the world, your health is going to be so much better. And if you've got your health, you've got everything. And be a good, active 85, 90-year-old and still contributing, still getting excited about things in the morning. It's just opening your mind and your heart. So this is like another benefit, but
Yeah.
that's what we're hoping, is to get people that have just stopped living.
I think it's also the simplicity of things. I live with a almost 86-year-old wonderful woman. She still works. She still drives. She has short-term memory. That's what I help her with. But she is so sharp. She's fierce. She's got more energy than I have. But when she watches things, things that make her happy, like the new Mary Poppins movie, she's jumping up and down and singing along with it. And we go along, we're here in Victoria, BC, so we go along and feed carrots to the horses that are pulling, the carriages. And there's so many little things that are simple that just light up her day. And she doesn't realize what an inspiration she is to other people, not only just because of her age, but because what she's doing at her age and her attitude towards life. And so attitude is a huge approach, isn't it? So many people don't know how to find joy. Simple joy in life. And I think that's something I lost in one part. I was passionate, but where was joy? The simple joy of life. And I think that's where an animal brings us back to that, doesn't it? That simple joy of being able to touch them, feel them, and really connect again with that spark inside of us, because that's something we lose a great deal of. So what if people aren't in your area? Can you work with people online that aren't in your areas, or only with the horses and the program and the spider program?
Well, with the horses, they have to come. But I have 3 women now who are interested in this first version of our program. And one lives in Norway, and the other 2 are about 600 kilometers from my place. So I think maybe we'll do 2 full days then with Feel. So it's,
So you really do need to be with the horses in order to do the Feel and the spider program.
Not the spider program, that's online, but with the horses they have to come.
Yes.
And that's the thing, is making the decision to commit to yourself. And this is personal development. So take a weekend, take a few days off, and come to see the horses. I mean, we've all done that. I threw caution to the wind after I was downsized and flew to Italy for a yoga retreat all by myself. So it's just something that calls to you is to get out and just do it. There's not going to be any downside to it. And what we were speaking about, the joy, is in the Life Spider coaching, you'll discover your essence. And for me, it was joy, but it could be, whatever it is to you. But through the Life Spider coaching, you'll find what your essence is. And just having that name and knowing it and taking it with you, because the Life Spider that you develop is actually a living, breathing document. So it may work for you for a couple months, but you'll look at it one day and think, no, that's got to shift. That's not working for me now. I see this as my driving force, and this is my life project, and this is how I'm going to make a difference in the world.
So the program helps you no matter where you're at. If you're at a new juncture where you have to change, you now have the skills and the knowledge to know how to change it. Right, Ann?
Yeah, absolutely. And what we do, I do a first version of the Life Spider, and it depends on how open the person is. Are they open to, peel off all the layers at once? Or do we have to make a smaller version that they can live with, because they have to live with their Life Spider, otherwise there's no point with it.
Right. It's a lifestyle, right?
It's a lifestyle, yes. And it's also, as you said before, to find the magnet that brings you out, takes you out of bed in the morning, and find a passion in your life. And when we have done, say, 8 or 9 or 10 sessions, they usually find that the driving forces are a bit too small, a bit too nice. So we have to upgrade it. So that's what we can do with this program as well. We can meet after a year, maybe 2 years, to upgrade everything.
And of course, it's not always just for people who are wanting to be in business. It could be people that aren't looking at the business thing, but looking to find something. You have an awful lot of people where their sustainability has already been taken care of. maybe the husbands have a good job, but the wives are being left behind a great deal. Finding something that you can connect to, that you can do, that you are proud of, and that you're not defined by your husband's position. Your position is this, but it's not driven by the fact that you need to make an income. So it really doesn't matter whether it's, you're looking to be in business, or whether you're just looking for something that's meaningful.
And also to find, like Leigh said, the spider has 6 legs. So many of my clients have said, I want to do this, I want to do that. I have there's no connection in between. But once we find 6 different projects, 6 different life intentions, and 6 different driving forces, they will see that there is something that connects the 6 legs. And that's, as Leigh said, it's joy for her. And I also have joy, actually, as my essence. So then they will see, they have these 6 different legs. They are connected.
Right. Well, yeah, they've got to be connected to something. Yeah, the legs are generally attached to something, right? The spider's body.
And the other thing that we find is that it's not about just checking things off your list, getting it done, and then you're going to be a new person. That the horses and the life spider coaching won't allow you to do that. And it's not about playing small either. It's like, I'm just going to do this in my lone little area. That's a great idea. Let's think about it bigger. Where could you take this out? So with the life spider coaching, actually, like, the sky's the limit. I remember in a leadership program we did for young women through the Minerva Foundation, we asked them one question: what would you do if you could not fail? And 15-year-olds, they're going to save the world. But as we get into middle age and beyond, that's such a daunting question. But if you think about it, I just get goosebumps thinking about it. What would you do if you could not fail? What drives you? What gets you out of bed in the morning? Like, think big. It's not about thinking small. You can start small, but just
allow yourself to grow. Allow yourself to grow. Yeah, and I think it's a lot of the time too is, think on what you want to try. What you would like to do, then do. And you may be sent off course to do something totally different. It's okay, but be willing to take the journey. Be willing to put one foot in front of the other. When I first started podcasting, I was with a different network. It was a live show, the first show, and everything went wrong. All the wrong buttons, planes going over, no one could hear me. It was just, catastrophic. And then I'm now 6 years with my own network, 7 years in podcasting. This is my calling. This is my passion. But I had to learn how to do it. But the why, I think, is something we're looking for in life. Why do we want to do it? Right? What is it that we want to do that drives our why, that also serves others? And I think you guys have shared your why today. You shared the fact that compassion, igniting it in other people, finding that connection with their soul, the heart, their spirit, bringing it to their mind so the mind knows what it needs to know when it needs to know it, and finding their calling in life. And then with that knowledge, it doesn't matter what gets thrown at you, you're able to redirect because you've got the base and the structure of you, so you know how to reshift into another direction without falling apart. And I think that is something that we all need in life, that structure that holds us to carry us forward, that we can face anything without crumbling back down. And when you've got the core passion and core love of what you're doing, you'll just redirect again, won't you? And take that passion and love with you.
Absolutely. And it's connecting with your soul again, right? And just feeling that energy. And when you feel that way, you're going to feel so much better on a health basis. Like, your health will improve a lot. And people don't really understand that. They just so focused on the things that really don't matter these days. Now we want to take this to the world and say, you matter, and this is life-changing.
I think Sara disappeared. I hear you.
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Sara, we can't hear you. Yes. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better.
Okay, something went wobbly there. It's okay, I'll cut that out. I'll go back to it. Let's say, every single person in the world is here for a reason. Every single person is like a drop of water in the ocean, a grain of sand on the beach. We're all trying to be more important than everyone else. The only person you need to be important to is yourself. Because when you step into yourself, you are enough for what you're here to do. We can't measure ourselves up. But that person's doing that. I'll never be them. You aren't them. That's what they came here to do. You are you. What did you come here to do? Step into your beautiful gift and bring that to the orchestra of life. And you are enough, whether you're just playing the little triangle or whether you're playing a solo piece, it doesn't matter, right? It's the measurement of, I'm not enough because that person's doing more than me. No, if what you're doing is making a difference in the lives of others, has made a difference in your life, you are enough.
Nicely said.
Beautiful, Sara. I had to write everything down and put it on our program.
I think that's one of the biggest problems people have in life is that I don't feel worthy. You know, I don't feel valued and I don't feel worthy. I don't think I deserve this. I think that's a huge problem in people's lives because they're measuring it by the false expectations. And if we stop measuring it by false expectations and start really looking at what comes from you, it doesn't matter you're the baker, the candlestick maker, or the village fool. Everybody's got a reason to be there. Step into your role. Do it with pride, do it with love, do it with compassion, and you are serving your purpose. Right? So, having said that, how do people get hold of each of one of you? And for you, Anne, in Sweden, how do people get hold of you?
It's on our website, Gustavsborg.com.
Can you spell that, please, below?
Gustavsborg.com. Is it correctly?
It will be here on the YouTube posting as well. So they can just go to the site and all the contact information is on there.
Good.
Excellent. And it's in Swedish and English, folks. Right. And Leigh, how do people get hold of you?
They can contact me on my website, and my website is willowspiritpath.com. And I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, as is Ann-Britt.
Excellent. So Willow Spirit
Path.com. CA.
Oh, sorry. So it's Willow Spirit
Path.ca.
.ca. Okay. Canada, CA, folks. You know, it's, if you are looking at taking one of those retreats, and I know Costa Rica or something is calling you, you know, it's maybe not. You know, maybe just go somewhere. Maple Ridge is a lovely place. My son's restaurant's around the corner. It will feed you while you're here. You're set in the mountains. It's out in the valley. It's a lovely place to go to. I don't know about where you are in Sweden. Tell us a little bit more about where you are in your area, Anne.
I'm in the south of Sweden, just opposite Denmark. So if you come here, you can visit Denmark and you can visit Germany.
Excellent. So you can make it a complete trip, you know, and an experience. And, you know, instead of one of those mindless cruises where you're 1 in 10 million people on the boat, you know, go and do something that really makes you connect with you, because we need you. We need you out there to be the best you can be, because that's what you are here to do. Every single one of us needs to raise our vibration, raise our frequency, get onto a higher wavelength, because that wavelength is that beautiful word called love. And when we love ourselves and we love what we're doing, we bring a beautiful harmony to the world. And boy, when you look at the world right now, it needs all the harmony it can get, and it needs all the compassion it can get. So, and collaboration, and all those other beautiful C words that we've used here today. So I thank you, ladies, so much for joining here and for sharing. And I think it's beautiful that you bring animals into it, because they are our teachers. They speak to the soul and the heart first, and they calm our spirit down, or they ignite our spirit, and then our minds just stop yakking away and just listen to the heart, soul, and spirit. And without that connection, you're only working on one cylinder. And the brain is like a little treadmill going over and over data, data, data. How to use the knowledge? You need to have the soul, spirit, and heart's wisdom to understand what knowledge is relevant in your life. So thank you so much, Leigh, and thank you so much, Anne, for sharing with us here today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sara.
Until next time, folks, be kind to yourself and know you are worth it. You're enough. Bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show and were inspired to come and visit us at selfdiscoverymedia.com and see what other shows we have for you. And please do visit our selfdiscoverycommunity.org and see how you can be a part of giving back. Thank you very much.